You are now listening to Mondays with Mike Martinez.
Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of Mondays with Mike. I'm joined by a good friend of the family, Carmen, our party planner. Super exciting. Welcome to the show, Carmen.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for the opportunity.
Hey, thanks for joining us. I want to ask you to do me a favor and just talk a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up at? What was your upbringing like?
So I was born in East LA, but I wasn't raised there. I was raised in La Puente. Pretty much lived there all my life until I was 25 or so, moved out. But it was a good upbringing. My family was very close, very united. We didn't really have a whole lot of struggle that I didn't think. But my dad was, well off.
What did your parents do?
So my dad is a manager. He was a quality manager for many years, and then he went into doing managing pretty much 2 different product lines and that's the company I used to work with. And then my mom, she worked, but then my dad wanted her to be a stay-at-home mom. So, I think we visualize like being home. The wives have to be home. So. But they did a good job with us. I feel like they just provided, and that's kind of the upbringing that we felt that was, I felt it was good.
You have a lot of siblings? I
do. I have 6. We're 6 in total, 3 female, 3 men. And so, they're good. I could say that they are not as motivated and driven as I was. But I think that my dad had a lot to do with that. And because since I was very young, I think I was 14, I used to ask for a lot, material-wise. So I used to ask for a lot, and he said, okay, you're running my bills. You're paying my bills for me. So I said, okay. And once I seen how much money he was spending, I was like, oh, no, don't spend there. You're not going to have enough. He's like, well, if I don't have enough, what are we going to do? And, it just opened my mind to thinking, okay, we have to make enough money.
From a young age, how old are you?
Yeah, I was 13. But, I think my dad did it as a sense of she wants to spend. I'm going to show you, and that really did stop me from asking for things. I was the type of person that I wanted to be into the same trends, high school is doing. Yeah. I want to have all kinds of shoes.
I think I'm going to try that with my kids.
So he had me run his bills. And back then you had to write a check, so. You would write them? I would write the checks. And so it got to the point where I said, hey, Dad, I don't think you're going to have enough this month. He said, oh, we should. We had to figure it out, right? Where are we going to cut back on? So I feel that also created a trauma, because later on I found out I had anxiety, and what causes my anxiety is financial. So if I'm struggling financially, or if I know I'm not going to make enough, I start to think okay, I need to, but it puts me in a survival mode where I have to make it.
That was really smart of him. Mm-hmm. That's genius.
Yeah.
If you think about it, you want to be asking me for all these things? All right, take a look at my bills. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
All right, great. Hey, I love it. So what did you do? You graduated high school, I'm assuming?
So I graduated high school, 2007. And then but I already had a kid. So I got pregnant when I was 17, had him when I was 18. And so I didn't want to give up, because, a lot of the family think, and they put a lot of pressure on you in the sense of oh, she had a kid, she's not going to finish school. So I said, no, I'm going to finish school. So I graduated, walked while my son was in the stands, and he watched me graduate. My son's actually graduating this year.
Oh, nice.
So it's a good accomplishment, that I was able to bring him up to this point.
And then you went to college?
I went to college. I went to it was called UEI. It's like a trade school. Mm-hmm. And so it was for criminal justice. My brothers got into drugs, so I felt like I wanted to be a probation officer, and I felt like I wanted to help kids that were involved in drugs and things like that, so that there could be a way to help my brothers, because I could see the stress they were putting on my parents.
Yeah.
And so I did all that. I went to the Rio Hondo Police Academy. I passed everything, and there was like an issue where they had to put a hold on all the agencies. And I ended up pretty much when I did the ride-alongs, I realized that it wasn't for me. So then I just put a hold on it, and then started working for another company.
What did that company do?
So that company is a manufacturing company for high-end grills, fireplaces, fire pits. They pretty much manufacture other outdoor campfires, things like that.
What did you do there?
So I started as a literature clerk, and I was, sending catalogs to the clients. So I would send it to like the distributing companies and dealers. And then from there, I moved on to doing a web design. So then I ran 5 websites for the company, and I started just more like developing. But it's
a big company, right?
Yes, it's a big company.
Any company that offers training and development to progress within the organization,
yes,
they're big.
Oh yes, and they did have me take like classes. I took basic Photoshop, I took InDesign, I took
They paid for it?
Yeah, they paid for it. And so they were not like long courses, but they still helped. And back in the days, everything was HTML, and you had to like use code. Now everything's so easy; it's just all generated for you. But before, I had to like go in there and change a color.
So do you do your own designs for your websites? And stuff?
Yes. But I'm at the point where I want to just hire somebody.
Yeah, you want to hand that off. Mm-hmm. You don't want to.
Yes.
You don't want to be doing low-level work as a CEO. Yeah. So how did you end up getting into party planning and event planning?
So in the company that I was working for, I started doing sales and marketing, which I enjoyed a lot. And then we moved on to international sales. But I just felt like something was like, I love it. I love talking to people. I was making enough. Not where I would want to be. What do you think
you were doing a year?
A year, I was doing about 30K.
30K a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love my customers. I love my clients. I just was not okay with the management at that company. But I was grateful because they did bring a lot of opportunities, and it taught me a lot how to market myself and how to just communicate with people and just like be out there, and not be afraid of talking to people. I've never had that issue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when you're not afraid of rejection, you're freaking dangerous because you don't care. Like, I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
You either like me or you don't. You either want to do business with me or you don't.
Right.
Like, there's not a lot of options.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that you got that. Like, you understood that from.
I remember there was we did well, let me talk about how I got into the business, and then I'll bring that because it has to do with you. But so when I decided to do the business is because there was everybody in my family, friends, anybody that I would like come up to, and like I would do events and stuff for my own. They were like, you need to do this for a living. Like, you're so good at it. You need to do it. You're great. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then I ran into somebody that she loved to do events. And she had the money. So I said, oh, maybe I could partner up with her because I have the creativity, but she has the money. And when we started partnering up, I started noticing that it was only for her best interest of like her personal events. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh no, like I'm trying to do it like out there, be out there. And I always had in my mind, like, I want to be somebody, like I want to do something, like I want to be able to people know who I am, And so, and a long time ago, I would try to start my kids on to do YouTube, and they didn't want to. And I would tell my kids like, hey, like let's do videos.
I'm going through that right now with Anissa. So yes. I literally just text her, did you post today? Because I see her like trying to post. She's all into horses. I'm all into horses again. I found that passion, and she has a lot of like videos dancing on horses, going through trails and like stuff that people, they don't have access to that stuff. And we have like $10, $15, $20,000 horses. People don't have that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I see her trying to blow it up. So I started coaching her a few days ago.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, you got to post twice a day. You got to post this way. So I'm on her ass right now.
Yes.
And I called her.
Do it.
I'm like, hey, have you posted? I go, so you're not really serious about blowing up your name on social media, right? On Instagram and TikTok? She goes, I do want to. Then why don't you listen? I go, post.
Right.
You know? So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. So but they never wanted to do it. So I just kind of left that on the back burner, you know? And then I started working with rental companies. I started like, okay, you know, going, what offers do you give me? Like, what kind of discount can you give me if I bring you events, you know? And I promise to bring you so many events a month or a week, you know, just to make sure I start getting better discounts, you know, and stuff like that. And so they started offering like discounts and stuff like that. So I said, okay, that's a good start. At least I can make money off of there. Mm-hmm. And then my service to tackle it on. And then and I kind of just parted ways from that partner. And then when I was working with the rental company, I came along another business partner, and we were working together for about 2 years. And that's when that's right after COVID, so that's when like everything blew up, you know. And we were doing good, you know. We were just getting out there. I was using my marketing skills from my other company into ours, and I always had the vision of like, I want to have a structure. I want customers that when they come, they get an initial you know, like a welcome, and then after that they get an estimate. After an estimate they get a follow-up, and once a deposit is sent in, they get an invoice. Once the invoice is sent in, then we schedule a meeting.
You're on board on that.
So then it's just like a process, and that's what I wanted, and I think that's what also made me build the company. But I wasn't fully there, you know. But and I remember we were doing events for you, and one Christmas we came to do one of your events, and I walk into your house, and you said to me, Carmen, what are your numbers? And I was like, my business partner had just walked out. She had just left. So I was like, oh.
I remember that. You were fixing everything for Christmas when we were talking about it on our big dining table. Mm-hmm. And I asked you, I had just came back from a Cardone Ventures event. I had already been working with Cardone Ventures for like a year maybe. Mm-hmm. So this was all stuff that I was implementing. And my business was scaling like a motherfucker in those days. When this was like two years ago, mm-hmm. when we had this conversation. So I just want to pause, and I want to give Carmen a huge shout out because she is our party planner, our event planner for all of our big Christmas parties that I do for our collection agencies and personal parties for my son, for my kids. She's always, I had my 40th crazy Mexican party. Like, one of my white friends came over, shout out to Nick Perry. He's like, I feel like I came to a Chapo's birthday party or something. So she handles all that for us. She's doing my daughter's quinceañera right now.
Yes.
So she handles all that for us. And I know you have a couple celebrities that you're doing already.
Yes.
Can you talk about that, or do you have NDAs?
I do have NDAs, but I started doing some type of like lives and TikTok lives, and then I came across other balloon artists that are in my industry, and they really liked my work. They offered me to come do events with them, and they're handling most of those celebrity clients. And so that's only when they call me. When it's a celebrity client, they call me in to come in.
To help them.
To help
them with the creative side?
Yeah, with the creative side.
See, that's freaking amazing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I remember that when you came in, you know, there's a saying in business that you can't improve what you don't measure.
Right.
By measure, we mean monitor. Like, what are you monitoring? What's your gross revenue? What's your annual revenue? What's your monthly net profit? How many clients do you have? How many leads are you converting into clients? You got to look at all those they're called metrics. Mm-hmm. So what was your experience, since I don't want to interrupt your story, what was your experience? This was December of 2023.
Yes. And I'm not going to lie, I felt scolded at that time, but I also felt thankful because I said, I need to know. you know, because you asked me, what are your numbers? And I remember I was like, oh, I don't know, like 80, 90. And, you know, I wasn't sure, you know, and I mean, and you're like, okay, and what's your net worth, you know? And I was like, or what is your, and you started asking all these questions. And I remember I was like, maybe, I think, and you're like, no. The next time you walk into my house, you got to know your numbers. And so I was like, okay. And then you did give me like a quick, this is why it's important, and this is why you need to do this. And you even said to me, you need to sell yourself. You're going to oversell yourself, but you're going to over-deliver.
That's Grant Cardone's quote, by the way. I just use it.
Oh,
so you're gonna overpromise.
Yeah.
And you're gonna overdeliver.
Yeah, and at some point I was like, okay, but I think a lot of us fear that. You know, a lot of people, especially young entrepreneurs and young people in business that are young, are afraid of that growth and are afraid of taking those steps. You know. Well,
they're afraid of the commitment. So I'm gonna give you a perfect example of, I still go through that too. Okay. I just launched, I haven't even really promoted it yet, but I just launched an NFT, a crypto NFT. It's $10,000. It's a 10x crypto of me. Like, I'm wearing different suits. I think they made 50 of them. It might be 20 or 50. And they're 10 grand each, but it's basically me in like a suit with a 10x, right?
Oh, nice.
So for 10 grand, what you get is one monthly group coaching with me. You get unlimited access to me through Messenger or through Telegram 24/7. As long as I'm awake, I'll respond. And basically, like, I'm your bitch, right? I'm your coach and I'm your bitch. And then there's an annual mastermind that is only exclusive for NFT holders. Like, you can only get in if you have that NFT key, right? And somebody found me on my podcast that has a collection agency, and they just bought it. They don't know anything about collections. So I proposed the NFT because they want coaching.
Right.
So what I did for them is I offered them 4 hours a month for the first 3 months of private one-on-one coaching. So every week they have me for an hour. I'm going to look at their business and I'm going to structure it. I feel like I'm overcommitting because I'm like, damn, I'm worth way more than that. Like, for 10 grand, I'm giving you 12 hours of my personal time for 3 months. Like, that's huge. Yeah. Right? But then I'm like, fuck it. I'll just do it. I know I'm going to over deliver. Yeah. But it's like, I'm worth more than that. So I think a lot of people, what they do is they think, I'm going to overcommit, and what if I can't deliver? Right. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm like, damn, I'm busy. Yeah. To give these guys 12 hours. So I get where you're coming from. And how do you feel now after going through it for 2 years?
I think that it helped me a lot. And just with what you said, I remember your words of, like, your time is valuable. Like, you don't give up your time. Do you have a calendar? Do you have a schedule? And I was like, well, no, you know, and you're like, you need to schedule your time. Like, and I just realized, like, okay, your time is valuable. You have something that it's not something that I went out to learn how to do. Like, the creative is in me. So I have to use that and to, like, my advantage, and just, you know, try to, like, create something that is going to make you stand out from everyone else, you know? So that's where I said, okay, well, I'm going to start valuing my job more and not be afraid of charging, not be afraid of setting my prices. Not me and Natalie. Oh, you guys are my favorite. And I remember you said that to me too. You're like, you're doing good, but you don't go off on me. But I was like, oh, of course not. You know, like, it just, but honestly, I do want to say this to you. I do thank Natalie and you, because you guys also were a piece into me growing my business, because you guys allowed me to have that creative freedom. And then that's when you start attracting those clients, you know? And so it's something that you start to grow, and you start to see those growing pains of, like, oh, I can't handle it this much. I can't do this. I can't do that. But, you know, it's taught me a lot. And I feel like I've grown over just in these past 2 years. to the level that I didn't expect to feel at. I did a wedding in North Carolina. So I just designed for these event planners, and I cried because I said I wanted to travel and do events and do things. And then, so I just started seeing my dreams, coming true. And then now I'm like doing celebrities, and I'm like, to me, it just felt like, oh, it's normal.
But you'll never catch me admit this, but you guys get a little bit of extra content because you're watching the show. But I've literally been driving in my car in the last few years a handful of times, and I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude of how much I'm growing and how much I'm impacting the people that are on my team, and even my social media brand. I get all the time I run into people and they're like, fuck, dude, I learned so much. And I'm like, dude, why don't you comment on my shit? Can you throw me a comment?
Right.
I got a bunch of likes, but I don't have a lot of comments. But it feels so good. Or knowing that some of my employees are buying houses, or knowing that people in Egypt or Latin America are making serious money. They're making what doctors make. Yeah. And at the same time, I'm fucking getting richer. I'm getting richer, I own all this real estate now. We're our net worth is growing, and I'm literally just driving, Carmen.
Yeah.
And I just tear up, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm a grown ass man, and I gotta knock the shit off.
Yeah.
But you can't help it.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes you don't realize the level that you're at. Sometimes somebody else has to tell you, damn, you're doing amazing. Damn, you did that, or you handled this, and it's you don't. I feel like sometimes I wasn't giving myself enough credit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was important. That was important, especially with what we're doing, because, I was like, you have to believe in yourself,
So, one thing with your business is that memories is one of the greatest things that we get to experience as human beings.
Yes.
That's why they say traveling is the best investments. Mm-hmm. But right up there with it is events.
Yes.
Because you get to experience. I wish I would have known you when I got married. We had a beautiful wedding, but imagine you would have planned that for us. My birthday was you've created so many beautiful events for us in my business, Christmas parties that people still remember from freaking 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
Santa Anita, that one was off the chain.
I love that one.
This last one too. It was they're all off the chain. And my 40th, I'm never gonna forget that.
Yeah.
My 40th, she had my logo everywhere. This logo right here. Even my mom, my aunts came from Mexico, and they're like, damn, that's Mike's brand on sofas, on my cake, on the dance floor. My fucking logo was everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was your idea, Natalie's, but it was just an experience that I'm never gonna forget my 40th. Mm-hmm. Even Natalie's birthday party.
Yes.
So what's next? Let's talk about your growth in the last 2 years. Has your revenue doubled?
Yes.
Are you gonna triple your revenue this year?
Yes, that's the goal.
All right. What's your target this year?
300,000.
300,000. But we said that because right now you're a one-woman show.
Yes.
Okay. So are you ready to bring somebody on?
Yes.
Do you have anybody in mind?
I have one person.
Okay. So I think that if we follow the recipe of success, that 250,000 is what one person should be generating. Right. And by the way, that's the minimum. Okay. That's the minimum, okay? So one person can generate $500,000, but it's hard. For one person to generate $500,000, if you're the business owner and you're not just selling, but you're doing everything else, it's it can break you. The pressure can break you because it's too much.
Yes.
You're overloading. Mm-hmm. So when you duplicate yourself, that's how you get to your first $1 million to $3 million. It's raw duplication. So if you master duplicating yourself, now creativity is going to be hard because you're a unicorn, but they can help you with some of the lifting. When you start duplicating yourself and you start building systems and processes, what will end up happening is you can go to 3 million pretty easy. Okay, pretty easy. After 3 million, then you have a different problem. So they're called breakpoints. I always teach this, that Brandon Dawson taught us this. Yeah. Breakpoint 1 is 1 million to 3 million. The key to passing 3 million is becoming a master at duplicating yourself. and delegating, okay, with structure and some organization. The second one is passing 3 million to 8 million is all going to be processes and systems. That'll get you to 8 million.
Yes.
So those are big numbers, right?
Yes.
Do you think that in the next 5 years, you can get to that level? Is your belief there?
Yes.
In the next 5 years?
Yes.
Okay, give yourself time. So what's your plan this year to get to 500K? You said 300, I say 500.
Yeah, you're always pushing me. So I think that the main thing is having the right guidance, because now I understand the importance of mentorship, but also having the right system that can help you run that business. I mean, they're there, we just don't know about them. And so I think becoming more knowledgeable on that and being able to promote myself better and putting myself, on everybody's phone, email, the first thing they wake up, like that's
top of mind. Yeah. We call it top of mind. So like they always have to. How often do you post? Every day?
Right now I haven't posted because like I said, the moment I post, I start getting blown up with inquiries that I was like, I can't handle it. So I started slowing down.
I'm in the wrong business. I want to have that. I want to have that problem.
Yeah, like I couldn't. I felt like I wasn't giving myself enough. And the thing is that I don't want to. I just don't want to. Not. It's not that I don't want to answer. It's just I always want to answer. So I don't want to be in the situation where like people think like, oh, she doesn't even respond or she doesn't even get back to me. And so I always answer. And so to me it just became a workload. Like it was so much.
I'm gonna share a little hack with you. Okay. Cool. So I'm not familiar with exactly which one it is, but I know that there's something out there where when somebody DMs you, it can go to a software that an assistant can view, and they could pre-qualify them and reach out to them for you. That's what an executive assistant can do. Okay. So, or if you're comfortable enough, I don't give a fuck. So like I have my team, all my team can have access to my Instagram. Right. Sometimes we message people to be on the show and it's not me, but we don't bullshit. We tell them, hey, this is Mike's team. He would like to know if you'd like to be on the show.
Okay.
So you can literally have somebody do that for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So their job is to, number one, make sure people are serious. Number two, when is their event? What type of event is it? This will get fun if you do it the right way.
It filters everyone out.
It filters everyone out. So, but you train them on how you want them to handle it. This is how I would handle it, me personally. Okay. If you don't have the system set up yet, like I showed you my CRM.
Right.
Okay. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But if you give somebody access to your Instagram and their only job is to filter out the leads from your DMs.
Yes.
You can pump as much marketing as you want because now it's somebody else's job to carry the load.
Yes.
So what they're going to do is they're going to put everybody, if you just want to use a spreadsheet, you could just use a spreadsheet. I put them into the CRM myself, right? But there's systems that could do it for you. And then they go and they're just checking, number one, when is your event? What type of event is it? What's your budget? What ideas do you have? So they're checking, are you a good fit to work with Carmen? Because if they say, on this day, okay, let me see if we're already booked that day. Okay, Carmen has, this is her price, but we have another party planner who's cheap, a little bit more cost effective. This is how much they would charge. Is that in your budget? Yes? Okay. I'll assign it to them. Now you have a backup party planner that can be another coordinator for you, right? That's how you start scaling. And you don't miss any leads. So you have to ride the momentum right now. Yeah. Because you know what'll happen?
It'll die down.
It'll die down. So you got to take advantage of while it's hot. Yeah. And then that's how you just fucking get on the rocket.
And something that I feel that I should mention is that I had somebody that was doing, when I was trying to build my the company that I had with my business partner, we had somebody that would do all that for us. They would filter it out And then that helped us build the company also, because it showed like the professionalism. Like, you don't talk to the designers until you're booked and you're ready to start planning your event. But I remember that we had this conversation because I asked you, hey, what do you think about partnership? And you said you should only have a partner if you have a silent partner. Or there's like, there's an agreement. And that's something that stuck by me, because every time I tried to partner up was because of the fear, that thinking I couldn't do it by myself. Now I'm over that.
You're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
You're doing it for the wrong reason. Yeah.
I think that's important. Like, don't partner up with just anybody. You have to be careful. You have to, like, don't be afraid. Just do it.
You don't need partners, Carmen, if you have a team of employees and you build a culture and you build like it's a strong team.
Yes.
Right? Because they can do that for you. They can do what a partner can do even better. Mm-hmm. And you're the boss, right? So if you don't like how things are working, you just break up with them real quick. Hey, mm-hmm. You know what? It's not working out. There's a process. Yeah. Like we teach this too. There's a process, right? Number one, did you onboard them right? Did you train them right? Are you holding them accountable to doing a good job? Are you having your, personal, professional, financial goal conversations with them? Are you having one-on-ones with them every 2 weeks so that they know how they're performing and where they need improvement and where they're doing good?
Yes.
Like, there's a whole process. When they mess up, you give them a reset warning, then you give them a written warning, then you put them on a performance improvement plan, then you terminate them. But during those 3 things, you're working with them. You're trying to save them. Now, if they don't want to be saved, they're out the door, right? Do you have a recruiting process? It's a lot to run a business.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But you're right. Like, I'm not trying to pitch anybody on mentorship, but if you don't have the right mentor, you can eventually figure it out, but it's going to take you a long time. Now, the next best thing, if you don't have money for a mentor, is read a lot of freaking books. Okay? It's going to take longer. It's going to take longer, but you'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a good mentor will look at somebody's business and automatically identify what they could do in the next 2 weeks, 30 days, 90 days, 12 months to just expedite the growth.
Keep you going.
A good mentor will do that. A cheesy one would just drag you along and not give you any real fucking value.
Yeah.
So you're going to duplicate yourself to grow to your target. And then are you going to look into a CRM?
Yes.
So you want to talk about that real quick?
Sure, yeah.
What did that impact have on you?
It was crazy, because I was like, man, you made it look so easy. And I'm like, that was there, that is there. Like, there's help, it's just you're not looking in the right places, or you're using the wrong systems.
It's not wrong. What you're using is not a wrong system, but what you're doing is you're using a Band-Aid.
Yes.
Rather than like really finding a solution long-term that'll help you scale without breaking, you're using just a Band-Aid. I use that analogy all the time with Natalie and with everybody that I work with. And they'll come up with an idea and I'm like, that's a Band-Aid. Mm. That's not a solution, that's a Band-Aid, right? You need a freaking stitch that up, not just put a Band-Aid on it, because that's gonna scar. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. So having a software, like when I partnered with Carmen, with my accountant, she didn't have a CRM. And I'm like, how the fuck do you manage all your clients? Yeah. She's like, oh, QuickBooks, we kind of know who's who. I'm like, dude, that's crazy. Yeah. I'm like, your CRM, your customer relationship management system, your CRM, that's the engine in your business.
Yes.
Like, if you want to drive a Ferrari, you need a good system in the engine, so you could take off. So you're gonna look at implementing that. Let's move on to how people could find you. This is what everybody's been waiting for. You guys want to work with Carmen? You want to hire Mike and Natalie's event planner? Here's how to do it. Where do they find you?
So I'm on Instagram under CR_event designs on Instagram, TikTok, and honestly, those are my biggest platforms. That's where all my traffic comes through. So you can contact me there, and send us a message. Just contact us. Our information's on there. Our phone number's on there. You can just reach out and let us know how we can help you and how we can do an amazing event for you.
And then make sure you let her know that you came from Mondays with Mike, so she could put extra attention on you because she's getting busy.
Yes.
So, hey, I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show. Your first podcast. You're the second female that's been on my show. You know who the first one was? Natalie. No, I'm sorry. You know what? I take that back.
Julia,
my VP, yeah. But I think I'm going to start steering more in that direction.
Yeah.
Because there's some badass women out there who are like gangster, entrepreneurs. And I think they need to inspire other ones who are scared or who lack confidence or knowledge.
Yeah.
So I love it. Yeah. Guys, make sure that you subscribe, and you comment. And if you're gonna if you want to throw a big badass event, make sure you hire Carmen. I'll see you guys next time on Mondays with Mike. Thanks, Carmen.
Thank you.
Let's get it.